All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan, and I've been out of the office for a little while. Just got back yesterday. So we're going to have some news. We've got a lot happening in game right now. We've got the Combe Forester event, the launch of Harvest Math. We're well underway of our pre-purchase for Corsairs of Umbar, so we got people playing new Mariners and things like that. And we'll have a look at some of the latest news, what we got going on this week, next week, a few other bits. I'll probably run some of those things that I just talked about as time permits. And overall, I'm kind of getting back into the swing of working myself. I just got back into the office yesterday, had a whole bunch of stuff to do, and had a busy week. So I might actually be coming down with a little bit of a cold myself. So if I'm a little bit under the weather, it's because it's been a long week. I put in a couple thousand miles on my vehicle. Went camping, had fun, had a good time, but just got back late on Wednesday evening and rolled into work yesterday. Got a whole bunch of things done, and like I said, it's a busy time. So thanks everyone who was able to do some of the things that I normally do while I was out. I did want to thank Angeliana and others as well who were involved in the past week. So thanks everyone, and thanks to the community for hanging out with me today and having a good time. So we do have some news, a little bit of news. Let me move to that. A fair amount of news, as a matter of fact. First off, for those who are not aware, we launched a week ago Tuesday, our pre-purchase for Corsairs of Umbar, and you can find out more on lotra.com/corsairs-of-umbar. And you can learn more about our upcoming expansion, which is currently announced for around November. It says available November 1st, so I guess we've committed. Well, there's a disclaimer in there saying, it could get pushed a little bit. We'll have a more solid launch date as we get closer to that November 1st time frame. But it's coming basically November 1st. So check it out if you're interested. I know a lot of you have already made that pre-purchase to play the Mariner and to get some of the goodies and what have you. You can find our launch trailer over on YouTube and a whole bunch of cool content. For example, this week I just created a playlist of the Casual Stroll live streams that Scenario did. We just ran through the last of those on Wednesday of this week. That was Umbar. So now I've got the full playlist over on the YouTube page. So whether it's King's Gondor, Shield Isles, the Outer Gondor, and Umbar, you can go take a look at that stuff and get yourself prepared for Corsairs of Umbar and learn a little bit about the creation of these areas. We do have the Harvest Math Festival that kicked off yesterday. That kicked off yesterday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Over on lotra.com, you can find a guide. Should get you started pretty good. Also does have the date that it runs until 3 a.m. Eastern on November 2nd, so through November 1st on that one. And most of you are already very familiar with the Harvest Math Festival, but if not, you can find more information about what to do, how to do it, and how to get there over on lotra.com, in addition to some of the other great community guides that have been written to date. We do have new rewards this year. Elk of the Forest Spirit, Tome of the Forest Spirit Goat, a bunch of Forest Spirit stuff. And I don't have picks this year. I've got picks of a few things this year that are already went out on social media over the past week, so I'm not going to repeat those here. You can already see them. You probably have. But we do have new rewards for Harvest Math this year through November 1st. The Combe Forester event kicked off in-game this morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is take 3, I know, but this is for real. It's working, it's fixed, it ain't getting shut off. It started at 10 o'clock this morning. You can find it basically east of Combe is where you want to look for it. Go to Combe and head to the east down the road, and you'll run into the lumber camp that you can run the event. I was there just a little bit ago. I have not actually run the Combe Forester event myself yet. I saw Ryan do it, and I helped write the dev diary that came out with it, but I haven't really run it live at all yet. So we'll see. I was messing around with that a little bit before the stream. We'll probably hang out there a little bit during the show today. But that kicked off for its run. It's going to go through the 22nd, being shut off on October 23rd at 3 a.m. Eastern. Also, quick note related to events. Next week we've got one too. That is the Duran's Day event. That happens every year, and you want to do that for several years in a row for much benefit. And that would be starting at 10 a.m. Eastern on October 17th, and again running through the 22nd of October, being shut off at 3 a.m. Eastern on October 23rd. So Duran's Day event, and that's next week already. Because what? How do we almost get through halfway of October? How could it be Friday the 13th today already? I thought it was September. Wasn't it just September? What happened? Anyway, so that's happening. The final thing I wanted to call attention to is yesterday we were able to kick off this year's Extra Life campaign. So Extra Life is something we do every year to raise money for life-saving services that make a huge difference at the Boston Children's Hospital. And every year, the Lotro community and other game communities, DDO joins us here as well for Team Standing Stone games. We raise a bunch of money to help provide this life-saving care for kids at the Boston Children's Hospital and other local hospitals, depending on who you are raising money for. But we are raising money for the Boston Children's Hospital, and you can support us with a donation at extra-life.org/team/Standing Stone Games. Just like usual, we got a whole bunch of rewards. So if you make a donation, you fill out a little online survey basically saying this is how you get the codes to me, and these are the codes I want. And then in the coming weeks, I'm going to try to get it done a little more as it's happening, so it's not all going to wait till after the end of November. But I'll go through that spreadsheet, all usually 500-600 of you or so, and just send you emails. It takes a while. I watch a lot of movies in the background while doing it, but it takes a while. So do have some patience in getting your incentives. But goal is to start rolling this stuff out in the coming weeks, and it's usually through December before everything is all said and done. We are raising money through the end of the year here as well. We're also going to be planning a game day. I don't think it'll be Saturday, November 4th, which is the formal Extra Life game day. I think, we'll see, but the current trending is Friday, November 3rd, and that's because of team availability, really. A whole bunch of people on the Lotro team side, Lotro stream side, just have things they got to do that Saturday, and so I think we might do it that Friday instead. But stay tuned. We'll have more information about when we're going to do our big Extra Life drive here within a few weeks. So, make a donation, fill out the survey, let me know what you want. We do have new things this year. One thing is returning the Sociable title. It was originally distributed in the 2013 and 2014 Extra Life fundraising efforts. We're also bringing back the Pig in a Blanket housing decoration that was originally distributed in an issue of the Lotro Beacon. The Spotted Corgi is the new pet this year. And we have a returning kind of / new cosmetic item, the Ceremonial Cloak of the Misty Knight. It's similar to an obsolete item that used to be acquired from the Tier 2 Challenge mode of Os Dunholth, and a different color turned into a cosmetic cloak. You've seen that on the stream in the past. I've spawned that during various times, a couple of times. But yeah, we do have some 4 new items this year, and I've got a few other things on tap, I think, for next year as well, because when I dug up the Sociable, I was looking at the history of it, and at the time it was basically meant to be an exclusive, but that was all the way back in 2013 and 2014. And ever since then, no one's been able to get it. And there are some people in the game who were like, I want all the titles, and I got that gap on my list, and I can't get that because I can't go back in time to 2014, dude. So can I please get the title? And after a few years of thinking about it, I was like, all right, so here's how I'm going to handle like some of the, and there's only been a couple, but there's, I think, 1 or 2 more titles that fall under that item, which is after 10 years, I'm going to offer it again. And so let's call it a 10-year exclusivity on those things. If the community has an uproar and really has a problem with it, well, I'll listen. But it's just a way to bring this stuff that's really been orphaned for many years back through Extra Life here. So happy to do that this year. Should be really cool. I've done a few other minor changes this year for Extra Life. One, I've upped our goal to 30,000. We already do have that $5,000 donation done by Daybreak, and we have also had others who have made those donations to us. So we are well underway on our Extra Life drive, but I've raised it to 30,000 this year. We'll see how we do. Once we hit the 10, 20, 30,000 marks, I give out a whole bunch of points codes and picks from the community loot list. And then at the end of the event, we're going to be giving away 3 Ultimate Editions of Corsairs of Umbar to someone who's donated at least $10. These will be a random name generation. Anyone who's filled out that survey so I can contact you. We're just going to pick 3 of you from the list. That'll be after November 31st, though. That's not going to be for a little while. Corsairs of Umbar will have been out for a little while by the time we do that drawing. But 3 this year. So 10, 20, 30,000 are the thresholds. And then I've also cleaned up this year a little bit the individual incentives because we don't have forum titles that we have to worry about anymore. You can just make your own. We don't have to worry about avatars anymore. You can upload your own. Use your own. So $10 a pick from the community loot list, 20, 2 additional picks for 3, 40, 3 additional picks for 6, $60, 4 additional picks for a 10 total picks from the community loot list for a $60 donation. And that's what we got going on for Extra Life. This just kicked off yesterday. We're always really honored to be able to do it. Every year the community comes together very well. You don't have to donate to me. I'd like to see my numbers go up. It's fantastic when I get recognized thanks to your effort from Extra Life and others for all the big money that I and others bring in. But you don't have to donate to me. I'm at extra-life.org/participant/Jerry Snook. But you can find anyone on the team you want to donate to. That's extra-life.org/team/Standing Stone Games. You can make as small or as large a donation as you can afford to and want to. And you can donate more than once. It does get a little complicated on the incentives. The best way to do it is just to fill out that survey when you're done. But you could fill out a second survey and be like, yeah, I donated another $20 and this is the stuff I want. That's fine too. If it gets a little complicated, just PM me on the forums and we'll sort through it. Anything you've donated to Extra Life this year already counts. I'm not very picky. I figure that if anyone really wants to scam me out of a couple of codes with shenanigans, I'm not going to worry about it. It doesn't really happen. So just if you're interested, donate, fill out that survey, get in touch with me, and we'll make it happen. So I do have a lot of plaques and things from Extra Life. It's a really neat collection, as it turns out, over the years. So pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, do I have anything else? Let's see. I did Harvest Math, Extra Life, Corsairs of Umbar. We did have a patch this week. That was update 37.2.1. You could find the release notes on Locher.com. I had nothing to do with these release notes. I can take no blame on these. I was out of the office by the time they got started and back after they got published, so I have no idea what was in them. Bug fixes, really, for update 37.2. Follow-up work. A little bit of Mariner polish and things like that. Alright, so for news, before I get in game here just a little bit, I did want to let me move over here, get a little audio going. Did want to look ahead to next week, because we do have a couple of bits that we can talk about. So for next week, we have a busy week. Besides Duran's Day kicking off on Tuesday, we are also expecting on Tuesday, fingers crossed, but we're expecting on Tuesday to be able to launch our first beta on Bull Roar for update 38. Yeah, so Corsairs of Umbar is going to get its first preview next week on Bull Roar. This should be a content largely focused preview, so it'll be some of the quests and some, if not all, of the landscapes, I think would be for this first Bull Roar. Because I've been out for a week, I hope there's not someone in QA going, no, don't say that. But I think that's the case. So it should be the first preview next Tuesday for Corsairs of Umbar. And then we'll follow up. We currently have it set for the week after that for a second preview. And then following that is really going to depend as to how these two previews goes and what we need to do beyond that. So that's the big focus for next week, is we've got all the things that just kicked off in the past 24, 48 hours, plus our first Update 38 preview on Bull Roar, plus the Durance Day event. And then next weekend we've got a VIP boost as well from the public event schedule. So that's what we got going on. All right. So what have I got going on here? As promised, I am on Brandywine. I am on a new character on Brandywine. And this is... I did run through the intro, and I did basically sort through all my gear. When you're an employee of Standing Stone Games, you get a lot of free stuff in your inventory when these things hit. And that is me. I am free stuff. So I've got a lot to do here. Related to my inventory. But I'm getting it sorted. It's working. I'm getting it done. And what am I doing here? I am actually looking for this thing, which is... What is that thing now? That's the... Which one is that? Okay. Life of a Guard. Okay, Life of a Guard. Which one is Life of a Guard? Bring the suitable branches... Oh, I've actually got to just go over to the East Gate. That's all that is. So I did a little bit of questing last night, just to kind of get my land legs, I guess you could say, under me. But this is basically a new character, and this is a Mariner. And it's on Brandywine, and the name is Rivener. Feel free to friend me up if you want to. I'll be playing this character on the stream for a little while. I will probably end up Valaring this character, rather than, because I don't want to get too stuck, moving through the level range while we have new content coming out. But I did want to have an alternative character to Stampion and some other things that I could just sort of do. Rather than just play Stampion, which I've played for years, frankly. And I enjoy it. But, as people have pointed out, it's cool to play a new character, see some new faces on a new server. So this is on Brandywine. And, yeah, that's what we got going on here. I'm just doing some kind of low-level questing here for now. Like I said, we'll probably check out the Forester event. I'll have to switch servers to do that. And we will, because I do have Stampion as the one to do that Forester event. Where was the other hinges? There we go. No? So, anyway, that's what I got going on. We're playing a new character here starting today on the stream. It's a mouse. There we go. Okay, well, let me go through chat here real quick while I'm kind of traipsing around. Already answered the question from Older in chat about when the Combe Forester event will be happening. Answer is not that far from now. Alright, so which one do I want to do next? Warg among... Am I ready for that? Yeah, because I basically just need to collect King's Foil and defeat beasts. No problemo. I had my floating names off because I was originally going to start at the Combe Forester event, but it was off-timer right around noon, so I decided to call an audible, as it were, and just do something else. Get a start on this character. So we have actually, someone is saying the weather isn't anything like October in their neck of the woods. I have to say that for me on the Massachusetts side, other than having probably one of the worst years for weekends I've ever seen, I mean, it's just a constant of, rain. Pretty much, it's been beautiful and fall-like all week long. And as soon as the weekend hits, it's like, hey, you didn't want to go outside, did you? Nah, you didn't want to go outside. And so that's been what we've been dealing with. It's been frustrating because the weather's been beautiful fall weather, except for the weekends, at which point it's just been the worst ever. It's garbage. Spelled G-A-H-B-A-H-G. Garbage. Actually, it would be G-A-H-B-I-D-G-E. Garbage. Where did my wolf go? I think he just already got killed. Okay, well that's fine. I can wait. I can wait. I'm in no hurry. A unicorn mount in the Lord of the Rings Online. Well... I don't know all my Tolkien lore, but I'm gonna say probably not on a unicorn mount. Perhaps there's some kind of way they could do it. Who is Jerry Snook? Well, that be me. That's my real name. That's what the cops call me. Would it be possible to upload the music to Spotify as well? Not easily. So the reality is like we don't have... So our music is, you know, legally protected and licensed, etc., etc. But we don't have, like, the distribution kind of percentages and everything in place. And it's not like it's a big money-making thing. I mean, we're releasing all of our soundtracks for free. But when it comes to releasing it on Spotify, there's certain things that you really need to do for licensing and such that we just don't have. And that's not to say we could never have it, but it would involve really legal representation from us, probably our publisher, probably the various rights holders for Tolkien, in addition to, you know, the composer bill and things like that. And so I think when it comes down to it, while none of this is impossible, it's not something that we have really been able to get much in the way of traction, time, money, energy to really create in place. And so we end up in a position where we were able to release, say, that one soundtrack, was it the 15th anniversary soundtrack, on archive.org. And that was specifically, basically, me just uploading it and doing it. But we did get, you know, permission from the various people that needed to release it in a digital music format. Now, you can argue that what does it matter if you're putting it as a video and the song's playing to the video? That counts as releasing the music, right? Well, yes and no. We're able to do that, just kind of under the existing structure we have, whereas doing something like putting them up on Spotify would require that process that, you know, we have not to date established. So that's kind of the long answer on the why no Spotify. It's not that we hate Spotify or anything. It just doesn't really work. All right, Scout Beyond. So this is the hill, right? This is the hill. There we go. The advantage of doing that someday would be that it would potentially allow us to sell the music. Not that, again, we necessarily want to turn this into some big revenue stream for us. But I think there would be interest on the part of the general player base to perhaps pick up a record or a CD or just download the music or whatever. So maybe someday. You know, there are those of us, myself included, who would love to see it, because I'm an old music nerd. I think everyone knows that. I love my vinyls and my compact discs. But that's really the lay of the land and the why of why it is that when we release these, we release them as videos on YouTube because we can, because it's just possible and we can just do it, and that's something that we can't necessarily do if we were to try to release it in other forms. All right, where's my King's Foil? I need my King's Foil. Oh, actually, that's feathers from Crabbin. Looks like I've got my King's Foil. Okay. Well, hello, Crabbin. Does the Bull Roar preview require you to have purchased Corsairs of Umbar in order to see the content? Specifically, no. Corsairs of Umbar, the previews are generally just open to everybody. We don't gate it that way. Often, and by the time it's on preview, it's not even really hooked up in terms of all the restrictions and that. So it's usually pretty easy to get it. The most laborious way to get it would just be to go to the Isengard Tavern. I think maybe there are times where you just have to do it that way, but that's it. So you just go to Isengard, which is the tavern that's set up as sort of like a preview space to let you do different things, and get it done that way. Okay, can we mention in the SSG meetings if we can scale the quest letters and notes? I know we can scale the quest info with bigger fonts, but some of us have quest letters and that. Yeah, that's, unfortunately, it's an old technical limitation, where I believe just really it's hard baked into the letter and such. A wider UI overhaul has long been something that we've wanted to do. And yes, I would imagine, in addition to things like the clearly needed, like, say, 4K support, things like wider scaling and accessibility and all that. I mean, you could go down the road of spending years of our life working on this stuff. And maybe we should. But so while I don't have anything I can really promise you, I would say that that's certainly something that we would love to be able to do. So. Okay. Unfortunately, you know, our game is of a certain age where a lot of the UI elements were for a very different era. And while have in fact done a ton of work on them over the years, it's a never-ending process, and some of the big generational leaps that you see, such as, like, better UI scaling, much better kind of accessibility and things like that, it's not easy. It's not just something you can just sort of click a button and upscale. And even if you can theoretically click a button and upscale it, it doesn't really do what you want it to do exactly. So, there you are. Hello, birdie. You will be my final death. Unless your friends decide to join you. There we go. If you wait, so Scenario told me to ask you that if you wait to get the new expansion pack, Ultimate Pack, during, say, the upcoming Christmas holiday, will you miss out on any pre-order items? No. I can't see a world where we would stop selling the pre-orders by Christmas. There may come a day in the future where we don't continue to offer all 3 tiers of Corsairs of Umbar or any of our expansion packs in some way, shape, or form. But the intention is to keep these bundles moving forward beyond launch. So they'll be available long-term in the Locher market. Eventually, it'll also be available for points and things like that. But for now, they'll just available long-term in the Locher market.
All appears quiet. That is good, but I will not relax my guard. You know the road that passes through
Mossward is not the only village in Swanfleet. A stable master can help you check on the others.
Okay.
Stay a moment.
Alright. I think I pretty much did some of the sort of turn-ins and just about everything I was looking to do here. So, what should I do? We're at 12:34. Why don't I pop out... Let me see. What do I want to do? I'll keep playing for a little bit of this. Because I still have, let's see. More of the King's Foil I could pick up. I could certainly head down to, like, Clegg. Okay. Really? I thought that guy was... Is that where he was? Okay. Yeah, right in front of me. So it looks like I'm heading down to Clegg, really. Bit. Oh, there's the wolf person.
What can I do for you?
There we go. Yeah, we'll head down to Clegg while I do a little more chatty, and then we'll change servers here, and check out the Combe Forester event. Someone is asking, is there anything going to be done about the deluge of items that established players get immediately when they create alts? Like a claim mechanism or something. You hear the other game has something like that. Yes, it's true. This is in recent years, over on the Dungeons & Dragons Online side, we have largely moved over to a distribution system involving an NPC inside of the game. And so the way it'll work over there, for the most part, now some things are still delivered to your character, but a lot of the kind of cosmetics and things like that, you can just talk to a NPC when you want to, and call that done. So pick them up whenever you want to. Now, it's a very different system, though, because the other game also doesn't have the wardrobe. So, for them, cosmetic items are literally just items in your inventory. And, you know, that has its own kind of little funkiness to it as well. But that is an option that's there. Now, we could potentially in the future move over to some kind of system like that, where we have a claim-like system. The challenges are fairly significant on the Lotro side, though, to make it work like that, because both games really do operate very differently related to, say, their claiming systems and the way that various elements of the expansions are delivered and what have you. So it's often trickier than you'd think to just sort of make this stuff happen. But there are times when we can do that, and perhaps in the future we can do more of that sort of thing based on what you'd like to see. When you're an employee, you also get a big inventory dump. So we feel your pain every time we create a new character in some ways, but it's also a good problem to have, because, you know, we want to continue to offer cool things, and you do ultimately have choice. You know, do you want to keep something or not? And if you're getting something on every single character every time you make one, well, then you don't really need to hang on to it either, because you can just kind of quick make a character if you want to, grab the stuff. Often it's account bound, just pass it off when you actually need it. So there are pluses and minuses to really both systems. But it is something that we do think quite a bit about, and potentially in the future could do quite a bit more about as well, related to the things that you get with your expansion and other purchases over the years. Have I turned on my heat yet? Yes, it did in fact turn on. It was last week already. We had some kind of cold night where it got down to like 40 degrees at night, and my heat kicked on already. So that was a thing. That was a thing that happened.
The mayor must be told of this.
There will definitely not be an overhaul of the UI for 4K monitors in Update 38. Shayala Juju asks when that'll happen. We don't have a release plan for any kind of 4K upscaling. It is something that we would like to do in the future. I don't know exactly what AMD FSR is, so maybe something like AMD full screen resolution into Lotro. Basically let AMD graphics chips somehow upscale things to 4K. Generally it's because those involve integration of APIs or other kind of technology that an engineer, one of our actual game engineers, would need to set aside the development clock time to integrate such things into the game. Sometimes it's easy, often it isn't. And so why a specific piece of technology has not been integrated into the game usually falls down on the fact that they're busy, they have other things they're already working on, like two-factor authentication, 64-bit clients, lag fixes, performance improvements, various engineering things that go into the release of an update. There's even engineering in support of, say, a level cap increase in a couple of ways. the tasks tend to pile up and need to get assigned into actual development schedules. And so integrating some of these third-party technology solutions doesn't always make it in there. I'm not familiar with AMD FSR. That could be a sweet solution for people with AMD. Presumably graphics cards, I assume. That's cool. Fidelity FX Super Resolution. Wow, that's cool. Well, that sounds cool. I mean, I assume people who know about such things, like our UI engineers and everything, are familiar, but I will bring it up. I have heard over the years some people say they prefer NVIDIA versus AMD for the Lord of the Rings Online. I have not typically found a huge difference. I'm running a 3060 right now on my computer, and I like the way the game looks, so... For the most part, we don't have a lot of old LI system UI assets still cluttering up the menus, but because there is some relative instances where things kind of still exist and still need to be accessed, potentially, we do have a few bits. Alright, I am going to swap servers, and we will end the day elsewhere. A shield maiden portrait would be sweet. Sounds cool. And we do, like, on the Literature side, like, related to user interface, we do have wardrobe. We do have some things on the Literature side that the DDO side would kill for. But yeah, it is something, it came out a few expansions ago on the DDO side where they can use a claim system on certain items. So that when you basically talk to the NPC, it says, do you have the thing? And being the entitlement of the expansion. And then it'll give you a list like, yeah, I want the hat. Yeah, I want the gloves. Yeah, I want the mount. That kind of stuff. It doesn't work really for some things like character slots, I think. A few other bits like that. There are certain things that still have to be delivered the old-fashioned way. Yes, Amathil, our installation and onboarding process is definitely something that we have engineers working on, have had engineers working on, and will continue to have resources focused on here, both short-term, medium-term, and long-term. Things like an updated game launcher has been a large part of some of the work that our engineers have done for a while now, really for a year or so. And we are getting there. But it's one of those projects that is a long-term project, and so sometimes people have to break off to deal with whatever fire of the moment is happening. Like, say, launching a new Lotro store and a few other bits like that. So it takes time, but we are making progress, and I would expect to read/see more about this in the future. Alright, so I am over at the Combe Lumber Camp, and like I say, you can see it's just basically east of Combe here. This is where we're going to run the Combe Forester event. When it's active, Wilkin Thorn will show up. You pick up the quest and register. And then eventually these little bits will start glowing. You'll pick up an axe, and you can start running the event. Because it's not active right now, I think I'm going to just kind of hang here for a few minutes and chat, and then we'll head over to the Harvest Math Festival and bop around a little bit as well. But I did want to, you know, head on over to Combe and then see what's up here for the Forester event. It's on a rotating schedule, like 15 minutes on. I can't remember where we landed on that, but it's on a regular rotating event schedule. A carry-all for cosmetics would be nice. We already have the wardrobe, though, so maybe just double, triple the space of the wardrobe would solve it, too. IMO. Yes, I have been there, sneakies. When you get that new computer look. It happened to me this summer when I upgraded from my 1060 to my 3060. I finally bit the bullet on video cards because they came down for some kind of Amazon price or whatever. And so I finally upgraded from my old 1060, which was still a very competent video card for Lotro. But for what I'm pushing this stuff through, including video editing and live streaming, it was starting to break down a little bit. So I moved over to a 3060 this summer, and yeah, once you swap video cards and you're like, oh my god, everything looks so good. Now I need a new monitor, now I need a new power supply, now I need it's more RAM probably, and maybe I should just change the processor while I'm at it to get myself the next generation. Oh, well, I need a new motherboard to do that, because the one I have is compatible with a new generation of processors. And that's the life of a computer owner, isn't it? I want better. How do I get better? I can upgrade my computer by basically turning it into a completely different computer, one part at a time. There are some deeds you will never be able to do, someone writes in chat, like the horse session play we got from the Riders of Rohan Legendary Edition. Yeah, there was that exclusive session play associated with that. Register with the judge here. You were wondering, since it's been so many years, and we can't buy that edition now, could SSG put that horse session play into a pack to purchase in the Lotro store? My understanding of that is no. That because we said it was a pre-purchase exclusive at the time, we are legally not allowed to bring that back for everyone else. It is just that one horse session play. I don't think we have too many deeds that you can't do nowadays, but it is true that that one horse session play is and a great example of the kind of reason why we don't do that sort of thing much these days. Oh, you want me to switch scenes? Right. I should do that. Sorry. So, I'm just hanging outside of the Combe Forester event. I picked up the quest, registered with the judge, and I don't know when we're going to be going. But there we are. Someday I would like to get a new computer. I really would. The one I have is a real nice computer. I love it. It's got like 32 gigs of RAM, quad core, etc. But I did purchase it now 6 years ago. So even a fairly top-of-the-line PC from 6 years ago could be better these days, especially in the area of hard drives for me. I'm still using an old terabyte mechanical drive, and including right now for Lotro. I have an SSD, but the size is only like 340 gig, and I need it for certain things. And so I don't typically put my games on it. So perhaps my next purchase will be some kind of big fat SSD. But because that, in my opinion, is the #1 thing you could do for the Lord of the Rings Online to improve your gameplay experience immensely in terms of bang for the buck. Switching over from an old mechanical drive to an actual like nice SSD or even ideally like M2 drive or something like that, you will see such a difference in your loading times between screens and things. It's night and day. It's huge. It's huge. Yeah, I really do have no excuse. SSDs are low enough. I should just bite the bullet and do it. But it's mostly because it's the rest of it. It's like, well, that means I need to redo all Windows, and I got to reorganize it and get all my crap off the mechanical drive, etc., etc. So, but yeah, it's huge. Plus, I'm out of SATA ports on my motherboard, so I have to. Whatever. It's just going to be a pain. But I should do it. Clearly, I am not a computer expert. I tend to be like, it works, don't touch it. I saw a TikTok the other day. Someone had went to visit their more venerable relative's place and was helping to clean the apartment and saw an old iPod in an old iPod dock and was told, don't touch it. I have it playing. And I don't want to, if you touch it, it's going to stop playing. That thing had been playing for like 14 years. And the person was just using the volume up and down to turn it on and off. So I remember when the horse session play came up fairly recently on Treebeard, I believe it was, and the concern about the inability to ever access it if you weren't there back in the day for that one time being able to do it came up then too. And it's a totally valid complaint. You know, you want to run that cool content and can't. But it, you know, it is a case where we are somewhat tied by the decisions that were made in the past, and making a new decision isn't necessarily in the cards. How long does it take for, you say devs, but it's customer service agents, to reply to tickets regarding payment issues? They typically try to get back to, it depends on how many tickets there are, how busy they are, how many people they have working at a given moment, etc., etc. But they try to get back to people as quickly as they can, usually within a few days for an initial contact response. And then however long it takes beyond that will really come down to the nature of the issue and a whole bunch of other factors. It can take a long time. I think that, you know, we're well aware that sometimes it takes us too long to get back to people on this sort of thing. But we do the best we can, and the CS agents do work hard. I see them working hard and chatting and, you know, Teams chat and everything all day long. And I do see that ticket queue constantly rise and fall. So I do know that people are working very hard and do a whole bunch of tickets here. Typically within a few days for initial contact. We do actually have some agents, I believe, working during EU hours. You're right that it tends to be, we are a US-based company, and as such, the agents tend to be that as well. But that's not always the case. We do, in fact, have, you know, French and German CS agents that are living in Europe, as I understand it, and doing some work there as well. So. Oh, I know why. It sounds so quiet because I turned the volume down. There we go.
Greetings, friend.
All right. Will we get any new special supporter packs before the end of the year, like last year? I can't say. But we did have, you know, this... the River Hobbit bundle, and we had the housing bundle. Remember the farmers and homesteads bundle that we did not that long ago? And we do have Corsairs of Umbar. So I think to some extent we want to pace out how often we put together these kind of real money packages. So I'm not sure that it seems super likely that we're going to do another one by the end of the year, but it also seems possible because, like you're saying, there's plenty of cool things that we could do, but I can't really give a heads up on that. I'm sure there will be another one in the future. I just don't know when. And yes, we will get Sev on very soon. He was just recently on one of our game side. Was it on Launcher or DDO side? I can't remember. It must have been DDO side then. Before I went on vacation. And now I don't know what day it is. I don't know what month it is. I'm just completely useless. More so than usual. I was on the DDO side, okay. So then yes.
What can I do for you?
Oh, I have to go to taverns. Okay, well, I guess we'll head into Combe then. There we go. I need a vacation to recover from vacation. Isn't that always kind of the case, though? But no, I'm actually doing really well. I did put about 22,100 miles in the car in the last week. So, you know, that ain't nothing. Where's my tavern? Is this my tavern? Training hall. Here we go.
Are you looking for something, friend?
What? Why did that not work? Do I need this? Like I just said, I haven't actually done this, so I'm not sure how do I sample these beverages? Why doesn't it count? Do I have to bring them over? Is that what it is? Do I have to bring it back to the event? I guess. Oh, is the table of drinks by the hut? Oh, duh. Okay. Like I said, I hadn't actually run this before. Now I will do it right then. Oh, there it is. Just right there. Oh, here's the capers. Okay. Wow, I'm moving slow. Is it possible to get... Sorry, let me try to not fail this. Is it possible to get more seasonal weather? Potentially. Okay. There we go. And then I can return to the judge to claim my prize. I'm the best log carrier guy ever. I got a participation ribbon. Sweet. Well, that's cool, though. That's good timing as well, kind of towards the end of the stream here, to, other than my dumb moment where I screwed up on the beer and just should have looked over at the table instead of the direction of whilst I was facing. Well, no. The direction I was facing. Whilst doesn't make sense there. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. The archives are up on YouTube afterwards. Like I said, we got the Casual Stroll series up on our YouTube channel, so if you haven't had a chance to check that out, shows you all the landscapes, some cool previews ahead of Corsairs of Umbar. We'll have Sev on, maybe next week, if possible, to do a bit of a Q&A. Otherwise, we'll run Harvest Math and do a bunch more here, maybe Durin's Day and beyond. So thanks for being a part of the community. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting us if you do. And I hope you have a great weekend in the Lord of the Rings Online. Have fun, everyone. See ya.